So these are my upfitter switches. This is the exhaust fan for the bed. This is the extra reverse lights underneath the back bumper. These are all the bed lights. All the bed lights on the inside of the bed and also on each inside of each compartment on the side. That's all tied into this one. 4 and 5 are blank, and number 6 is the power to the 400-watt power inverter that I have mounted in the back. So on this first bin on the driver's side, I've got all my electrical stuff in here. Kind of random parts up here on the top, some wire nuts, light bulbs, fish tape at the bottom. And I've got these conduit connectors, the straights, the 90s, and then just some, you know, the clamp on kind. Wire ends, some GFI breakers, junction box plates, zip ties, bunch of zip ties. I got the timer mechanisms, some more breakers, some relays, just assorted conduit. And then here's just some wire, these cord stoppers, bulbs, electrical tape, some more bulbs. The bottom big one is where I keep all my different wire. This middle one on the driver's side, just kind of got assorted stuff, extra tools, my impact sockets. These are my random screws and mounting anchors. But some power tools in here that I don't use as much. Got a grinder, the right angle drill, stuff that I don't use quite as much in here. The stuff I use the most almost every job is in here. So here's my tool bag with all my, you know, regular tools in it. Got 2 sawzalls. I got the short, or it's not as long as a normal sawzall, but it's still long. I got this one that I use sometimes. This is the one I use the most. I just got this one a few months ago, but I like it a lot better. It's a lot lighter, and the angle of it I like it is better for cutting. When I got to hold the pipe with one hand and cut with the other, I kind of like this setup better. Then I got an impact and just a regular drill, pipe wrenches, some string for pulling lights, some specialty drilling stuff. These are kind of cool, but this allows you can cut off a pipe, add a fitting, and then you use this to basically ream out the old pipe out of the fitting so you can reuse a fitting. And here's my chargers that are hooked up to that power inverter. And then on this side is where I keep my glue and silicone and rags, that kind of stuff. There's a sump pump for, you know, draining hot tub. And then I got this DeWalt fan, which I got this winter, so I haven't even used it yet, but in the summertime that'll come in handy. And then I got this DeWalt work light, which is super bright. This side is where I keep all my small assorted things. So here's O-rings for hot tubs, temperature sensors, and these barb fittings and clamps, kind of assorted little small plumbing stuff. Here's all my gas stuff for when I would install gas heaters. It's a whole bunch of black iron pipe stuff, Teflon sealant, assorted crap too, just overflow grates. But this is nice. This is for getting eyeballs out. It just slides in where those 2 slots are on the side. There's all my salt cell cleaning stuff. You put this cap on there and it'll stand the Hayward cells up, and this cap's off the pin tears. And then there's assorted jets and stuff, water hose jets for cleaning out the cartridge filters. And here's all my pressure gauges. That's water levelers. And it's just sponges and stuff for cleaning hot tubs. And this is the plug removing tools, just those square plugs that go in skimmers. That's what you'll use this to remove those. And this is a safety cover tool. Alright, this front one on the passenger side, I just got my conduit up here. There wasn't enough room on the electrical side for that. Hose set up that goes on my air tank to blow out skimmer lines. And here's just assorted straps and stuff down here. And all in this bin is all Polaris stuff. So got hose floats, wall fittings, and tires and wheels and axles. Some head float, feed pipe, kind of random O-rings. So I use those more than you'd think though. And some more cleaner parts, these axles that got way too many of, backup valves, some more head floats. And that's all on the outside of the bed. And in the back, I got this hitch step, helps a lot. Getting in and out of this thing all the time. Alright, so on this side is all PVC fittings. I got separate bins for each kind, but as far as them, you know, all the 1.5 inch here, all the 2, it's not like that. I just kind of know where they are. Some of these bins are bigger and smaller, so I had to kind of compromise on how to do it. But here's all my regular fittings, and here's all my eyeballs up here. And these are the square skimmer plugs. And then here's some just kind of weird PVC fittings that I rarely ever use, but I have them in case I need them. Then I got my ball valves. Got some more ball valves back there. Some more fittings, and then here's my Jandy valves. And then some more 2-inch ball valves. And there's some more Jandy valves, and here's check valves. And then I mounted my shovel up here to get it out of the way. I like these mounts. I use these on my tractor too. I made this wooden shelf here. Used to have all this stuff on the floor too, and it's already, when you get all this stuff in here, it just kind of takes up a lot of floor space. So I made this shelf to just at least be able to put a little more stuff up here. So in this bin is all just kind of specialty pool chemicals, you know, clarifier and flocculant, algicide and all that kind of stuff. This stuff I don't use that often. And then here's the hammerhead. And then down here I got calcium, big bags of stuff. So calcium and salt and stuff go in this bin. I just put all my acid here. These things tend to fall over and leak a little bit or whatever, so I got them in this container so that if they leak, it'll stay inside here. My normal chemicals here. Mounted this little wooden caddy thing for them. Just 2 little screws holding it to the wall over there. And then on the right side is where I'll put my poles. They just slide down, and that's a nice little spot for me to put the poles, not have to worry about them rolling out of the way or rolling out in the way. And here's my cooler, and this is just all the different attachments for the cleaning poles. All right, on this side, all my pipe, and there's this door on the outside where you can just slide it in and out through here. And then above that, it's just assorted parts. There's actuators, salt cells. It is kind of organized over the year or so I've had this truck. It's kind of gotten a little unorganized, but it's labeled and they are pretty organized. Like I said, I know the general area to start looking, but I do need to probably take this stuff out and reorganize it. And it just gets that way sometimes. But here's lids and all the pump parts, diffusers, seal plates, impellers, pump baskets, here's filter parts, and then pump seals. And here's all the water leveler stuff, the electronic water leveler stuff, and then just the toilet valve for the old style. And here's all heater parts up here. This is all heater parts. We work on a lot of heaters. I've had this truck for a little over a year. It's got 53,000 miles on it. This is a F350. It's got the 7.3 gas and 10 speed, and I got the 430 gears. I like the 430 gears, especially with a truck this heavy. This is right under 12,000 pounds with all the stuff in it. On the interstate going 70, it's right about 2100 RPM, so it's not too bad. But I like the extra gearing for a heavy truck it's built like a brick. And then I've got the spare tire on the front. This is just a front mounted hitch. Usually you got them for like RVs and stuff. And then I've got this spare tire mount that just goes in the receiver. I get a lot of funny looks with it, but it's a chassis cab truck, so it didn't come with a bed. And on the chassis cab F350, I think it's the dualies only. Maybe it's the regular ones, I can't remember. But I know on the dualies, the gas tank is mounted behind the axle, whereas like a regular pickup truck, the gas tank is on the side, so they have room to put the spare tire in the back. Well, in these, since the gas tank is in the back, there's nowhere to put a spare tire. But a lot of times you'll see people just have them sitting in the bed, or if it's a flat bed, they'll have it strapped up to the front because there's nowhere to mount it underneath. Bed space is already at a premium, so I didn't want to take up more with a spare tire, so I just got this. I like it. You can't even see it from the driver's seat. You just got to remember it's there when you're parking and stuff. But this is my second F350 work truck. My last one wasn't an enclosed bed, it just had a regular bed, but we had they custom made some grates for us and to put the fittings up there, and that was nice, kind of keep them organized, but it only had 12 little compartments up there, and it's just not enough to really organize stuff. So anyway, this is a lot nicer. Everything stays dry. It looks a little funny, but this is how tall you have to go to get 6 foot inside. My old bed was a nap hide, which I had no problems with it. I was gonna go with nap hide again on this one, but the nap hide, even if you get the 6 foot tall, you only get that bottom shelf right there, and then you get another shelf halfway. So even if you get the 6 foot, you only get 2 shelves on each side. The nap hide, the stall, and another brand I looked at, they're all that same way. Redding is the only one that the taller you get, there's 3 different heights you can get. You can get the one that's, I forgot what it is, but it's 2 shelves, and then 3 shelves, and then 4 shelves. So the higher you get, the more shelves you get. All the other ones, you get 2 shelves no matter what. I thought that's kind of stupid, wasted space. Anyway, so that's why I went with the Redding. What's nice about the nap hide versus this one, this is all flat on a nap hide, because the way this is more flush in there, it looks nicer when it's up. But when you've got it down, the whole border is kind of taken up because the door goes inside the seal. So you don't get as much surface area. So I kind of use this as like a little table, work table, and it's just not as useful for that. That's one thing I noticed. And then these big recessed hinges take up a lot of room. I can't remember how it's set up, but I know it's not like this on the nap hide. Gets about 9 miles to the gallon. And for this size truck, that's not too bad. And my old truck was the 2016 F350 with the 6.2 gas. This has way more power and torque. You look at the spec sheet, it doesn't look like that much more, but when you're driving it, it's a world of difference between those 2 engines. Well, also the old one has a 6-speed, this one has a 10-speed, so that's part of it. The engine just has way more power. The other truck had to downshift. Anytime you wanted to accelerate, pretty much you had to downshift. When I do get another truck in a few years, what I'll probably do is I'll either get a single cab F350 or an F450 longer wheelbase. I'd like to have an 11-foot bed. I know this is stupid, but it's a 9-foot bed and I got 20-foot sticks of pipe. So I got to cut them twice, so 3 pieces to get them in this bed. It'd be nice to only have to cut them in half and fit them in there. And then also with 2 more foot of bed, I'm getting, what is that, 16 more foot of shelf space. And I don't use the back seat very often at all. This is my personal truck too, but my wife has a car. So anytime we go anywhere, we're taking her car, not this thing. Occasionally I'll use the back seat. I'll throw my jackets back there, and sometimes I'll throw, the parts that I'm using for that day, instead of throwing them in the bed and worried about something happening, banging around or something, I'll throw them in the back. But for the most part, I rarely use the back seat. I wouldn't mind going to an F450 with a Super Crew. The reason I would go with the F450 instead of an F350 is with an F450, you can get the crew cab with 11-foot bed. The only way to get 11-foot bed on an F350 is to get single cab. The reason I don't want to go to an F450 or 550 is you get different tires. You get the, I don't know if they're retreadable, but they look like semi tires, but they ride really, really rough. And the whole suspension's different and everything, but I've read online that they ride way rougher than the F350. So that's one thing that's kind of holding me back. And the other thing is the only option for the rear end on a gas F450 is a 488. I do a lot of highway and interstate driving. I think it's going to be around 2,400 RPM at 70 miles an hour. And a lot of times I'll go 75 or 80. And I hadn't calculated that up, but I'm sure it's, 2,800 RPM. I know it's not going to hurt the truck, but it's just, I don't know if I want to hear it buzzing along that high. So I'll probably end up just getting the next truck, getting a single cab with 11-foot bed. I just think that'd be a lot better. I could carry more parts, have them better organized than they are now, just because I could spread them out a little bit and add a few bins. And because right now I've got some of the parts, kind of thrown in together into the same bins, just because there's not enough room to keep them all separated. I don't know, I've got a few years to decide, but I love this truck though.